A while ago, I was having a conversation online with two people, one of them being a polyamorous person and the other one being a straight guy, and me being myself. And yeah, and of course, you know, we started talking about polyamory, and the polyamorous person was, telling us about how what it was like for them to be polyamorous, explaining, what was it like for them to be in poly relationships, telling us about their experiences as a poly person. And and honestly, I was actually learning quite a lot about polyamory and polyamorous people, you know? Cuz honestly, I haven't actually talked to very many polyamorous people. And so yeah, I was actually learning quite a bit and it was good. But the straight guy later on asked me, "Oh, so what do you think about it? What do you feel about this sort of thing? What do you feel about polyamory and polyamorous people and poly relationships? What do you think about it? What do you feel about it?" And also, he asked me if I was open to that sort of thing myself, poly relationships and whatnot. And I'm like, "Oh, well, if someone wants to be polyamorous and be in poly relationships and it works for them and it makes them happy, then by all means, go for it. Do it. I have no issues, no problems with it. I'm not going to try to stop anyone or tell them otherwise. But for me personally, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my sort of thing. It's not really what I want when it comes to, relationships. But yeah. And I said that to him, and the straight guy weirdly looked offended by that. He was like, "Oh, so you're not open to that sort of thing? That sounds pretty close-minded. That are you sure you're not polyphobic? Like, what? Like me and the poly person were just kind of like standing there, like going, "What the fuck are you talking about? Didn't you just see what I said? Are you not paying attention? Like, what?" And I was just like, I just have different preferences, you know, when it comes to relationships. Me and the poly person just has different preferences. And that's totally fine and that's totally okay. And the poly person was saying, yeah, that's how it is, that's just what it is, me and him just have different preferences. And that's totally fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, it doesn't mean automatically mean I'm polyphobic or closed minded or whatever. No. We have different preferences. We all do. We're all different. We're not all the same. We don't have all the same preferences, We don't all have the same preferences. We're all different. And that's how it should be. We all like different things. We all are into different things. We all want and prefer different things in our lives. And that's how it should be. Because we're not all the same. We're all different. And that's great. And the poly person was agreeing with me on this. Basically saying the same kind of thing. And the straight guy was, honestly, he looked really shocked that the poly person was agreeing with me and siding with me. I guess he expected the poly person to side with him and agree with him and, be offended that I didn't want a poly relationship. But yeah. Having different preferences doesn't mean you're phobic or closed minded or whatever. It just means you have different preferences. And that's totally fine. But yeah. I guess this straight guy, he was just one of those, wanting to be offended kind of people. He just wanted to be offended by something. He wanted to bicker. He wanted to argue. He wanted to, that sort of thing. Or he was probably one of those, people with a social justice warrior complex. One of those people that were just looking to be offended on the behalf of other people, on others' behalfs. That sort of thing. There's tons of those kinds of people, and I guess he was just one of those. And honestly, those kinds of people are just annoying, and yeah, and they kind of suck to deal with or be around, but yeah.